Hey y'all, quick question. When someone says they're taking accountability, but they only own the parts that sounded acceptable, is that real accountability or is that image management? Because tonight we're talking Karen Huger's sit down with Andy Cohen, and I'm not convinced she fully owned the alcohol part the way she owned the prescription pill part. Drop your answers in the comments because this isn't just about reality TV, this is real life. What's up, everybody? It's me, Kenzie, and welcome back to Cocktails with Kenzie, where hot topics and entertainment meet real life. Now, if you're new here, clips are on Tuesdays, full episodes on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. So hit that subscribe and turn on all notifications. All right, just a quick disclaimer. This is commentary based on publicly reported information. Allegations are alleged unless confirmed. We're keeping it respectful and we're keeping it real. Tonight's drink is called the Clean Slate Cooler because sometimes you don't need more talking. You need a clean slate and better choices. You'll start by adding 1.5 ounces of Crown Royal, half an ounce of fresh lemon juice, half an ounce of honey syrup, a splash of ginger ale or sparkling lemonade, and then also splash it with cranberry juice. Make sure to serve it over ice. Enjoy and drink responsibly. Let's start with the Real Housewives of Potomac again, right? Because Karen's sit down wasn't just reunion tea, it was consequences, it was recovery, and it was accountability. And it was messy. Now, come in close. Here's the background. Karen's legal situation stems from a March 2024 incident where she crashed her car and was arrested on DUI related charges. Now, if you remember, body cam footage from the arrest scene showed her appearing visibly intoxicated.
I am. I know, right? I am.
Put your
I
bag.
am right.
You got your bag here.
I'm you. And
Hold it.
he's,
Hold it, honey. Hold it.
I didn't do this. They
Huh?
did it. And no.
Okay. I don't know what this is.
Watch out, there's some barf on it there.
Huh?
Great.
There's some throw up on it there.
Okay.
Remember?
I think it's...
You remember how to
Okay,
do
ma'am, can you get your driver's license for us, please?
No,
Huh?
you cannot.
Okay.
You ready?
Karen. Okay, let me ask you a
She's
question.
not free to leave. Okay?
I understand this.
I need to talk
And
to her.
Okay, so,
Okay.
what
so
do
you're
you
saying...
need to know? What do you need
Hold
to
on,
know,
hold on.
sir?
Let me answer his questions. And
No, I am
No,
the
no,
person that was
Karen.
driving.
Okay, you were the
I
person
know
that was
what
driving. I understand that, but I need your driver.
In court, a jury found her guilty on most charges, and she was later sentenced to 2 years with 1 year suspended, plus probation. Now, this is where context matters. Prosecutors pointed to prior alcohol related convictions dating from 2006 to about 2011. And for years on the show, Karen has been accused by castmates of having alcohol related issues. So when this happened, the audience didn't experience as random. They experienced it as a pattern finally becoming public. Now, to the sit down detail that stuck with me. Karen said she rejected her legal counsel's advice to accept a plea deal because she was in denial. And she said she was still under the influence of prescription drugs and alcohol at the time.
Didn't even watch that film. I didn't allow Ray to watch that film, so I didn't have input from my husband. So I couldn't relate to what my lawyers were telling me, which they were giving me great advice, like, Karen, take a plea deal. Let's get you a plea deal because the video is going to nail you. But I hadn't seen
They
it.
said
Yeah.
the video's going to nail you.
Yes, they did.
Take a plea deal.
Yes, they did.
And you said,
Because I hadn't seen it, I was still in denial and still under the influence
under the influence of what?
of prescriptive drugs and drink, alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you were cloudy
I was cloudy
and you were in denial.
and I was in denial.
Now, here's my opinion, and I'm saying this respectfully, okay? I don't feel Karen took full accountability when I watched it, especially not for the alcohol portion. The way she took accountability for the prescription pill portion of it was a little bit more.
When was the last time you had a drink?
I would say it was after my accident.
And do you consider yourself an alcoholic?
I consider myself a person living in lifetime recovery. Because it's two drugs, I don't underestimate either. There's a lot of shame associated with saying, oh, I'm a drug addict. Oh, I'm an alcoholic. So I've chosen to say I'm a woman living in lifetime recovery because I'm dealing with both. I can't ignore one or the other.
But accountability is not just this is what happened to me. It's here's what I did and here's what I'm doing now. Because when your choices can endanger lives, full accountability matters. And we're not judging here, okay? We're just stating what we felt. So here's the question of the day again. If someone fully owns one part of the problem but minimizes the other, do you consider that accountability? And when prescriptions are involved, where does responsibility start and end? Doctor, patient, or both? Drop your take. Let's switch lanes. Shaunie O'Neal, respectfully, Shawnee Henderson announced that Basketball Wives will not be returning. The show launched in 2010 and ran about 12 seasons over 15 years.
Everybody, I wanted to jump on here real quick before the news got out and people try to be messy and make this something that it's not. This is just called growth and, moving forward. I'm announcing today that Basketball Wives will not be returning. Since its launch in 2010, this franchise has been the defining part of my professional journey. What began as a vision to tell my story and stories of women like me grew into a cultural movement that created opportunity, sparked conversation, and honestly amplified voices that deserve to be heard. I'm so grateful to VH1, Truly Original, Shed Media, and BET for their partnership and belief in a show that left a long-lasting mark on entertainment. Most importantly, I'm thankful to the women who trusted me with their stories and the creatives in front of and behind the camera who helped bring this vision to life season after season. Growth requires evolution and knowing when to honor a chapter while preparing for what's next. While this journey is concluding, I'm actively developing new projects that align with my personal and professional purpose, continuing to create meaningful opportunities for women across media and business. Basketball Wives will always be a cherished part of my legacy and a foundation of my career as a producer. Thank you for your support from day one, and I look forward to this next season of leadership, creativity, and expansion, and sharing it with you.
Now, in the comments, a lot of people basically said this is long overdue because they're tired of watching women who are older, established, financially well off, still throwing drinks, still doing the same fight cycle season after season. And I really agree. I agree. The themes started feeling the same. I mean, it was the same conflict blueprint, same escalation, same who said what. And at a certain point, it stopped feeling real. It starts feeling more produced. And when reality stops feeling real, the audience checks out. All right. This next story is heavy, okay? So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to handle this with care. No sensational details. This is about the survivor speaking and the systems around her. Rashana Landfair, I think that's how you pronounce her name, previously and publicly known as Jane Doe, has broken her silence with a new memoir and a TV interview with CBS Mornings. Her book is titled Who's Watching Shorty? Reclaiming Myself from the Shame of R. Kelly's Abuse. And she describes grooming, control, and what it's like when your trauma becomes public spectacle. Now, Sparkle Stephanie Edwards is an R&B singer who was connected to R. Kelly professionally, including collaboration and industry association. And she's widely known publicly for speaking out about him in the early 2000s. Now, You wonder how Sparkle comes into this? Well, Rashana describes Sparkle as a family connection that linked her into R. Kelly's orbit. And Rashana's account includes a moment where she says Sparkle, which is her aunt, told her to ask him to be her godfather. Take a listen.
But you describe at length how it started. You mention your aunt, the artist Sparkle, who used to work with R. Kelly. I want to read some of it from, I think it was page 18. You say in the book, the next time we're at the studio, this is what you say Sparkle said. You say your aunt told you the next time we're at the studio, you should ask Robert to be your godfather. Aunt Sparkle explained that I should sit on his lap and rub his head while I asked him to be my godfather. This instruction seemed sort of weird since I hadn't sat on his lap before, but I didn't question it. When you think back, is that where it all begins?
If you'll recall, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in the New York federal case. Then, in the Chicago federal case, he was sentenced to 20 years, with 1 year consecutive to the New York sentence. So, overall, he's facing roughly 31 years total. Those cases involved federal convictions, including racketeering, sex trafficking laws in New York, and child exploitation related convictions in Chicago. Now, this is the conversation I want to have. Why does it take decades for people to stop treating trauma like gossip? Because I've been reading some of the comments, and it makes me wonder why do survivors have to be perfect to be believed? And when someone finally speaks, why is the first reaction still, where were you? Maybe the better question is, what kind of world makes it feel unsafe to speak out at all? Ripped from the headlines. An 80-year-old Ohio man, William Brock, was sentenced to 21 years to life after an Uber driver, Lolita Tolan Hall, was unalived. Here's what makes this case so disturbing. Both the man and the Uber driver were manipulated by the same scam. Reports say the man received a call claiming a relative needed bail money, about $12,000. The scammer then directed him to hand the money to someone arriving at his home. But the person who arrived was the Uber driver, sent there unknowingly to pick up a package as part of her job. Now, the prosecutor said she was unarmed and she pleaded with him, trying to explain she was just doing her job. He fired on her multiple times, and later, the scammers responsible still had not been identified at the time of the reporting. Here's the takeaway: scammers weaponize fear, they weaponize urgency. And when people are scared, they can make irreversible decisions against innocent strangers. So please talk to your elders about scams. Set up family code words, verify before reacting, because this story, the cost was a life, 2 lives. All right, y'all. Drop your answers to the question of the day. Was that full accountability or selective accountability? And make sure you visit www.crownbykenzie.com. Scroll down to our videos or our podcast to find the Cocktails with Kenzie YouTube page for audio and video. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, because it helps this channel more than you know. And if you've got a question and you need advice, click on Kenzie's Royal Court and submit it, guys. I love y'all for watching. Be safe, be smart, drink responsibly, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Cheers.